Welcome home. We are WNST, AM 1570, Towson, Baltimore, and Baltimore Positive, rolling through August here, rolling through pitching injuries and fake football. Luke is out in Owings Mills, and he is making his way down to Camden Yards. The Orioles return home next week. Maybe in first place. It's getting a little nervous around here. But, my next guest is a baseball fan, so he understands nervous summers around here. We're going to be doing the Maryland Crab Cake Tour on the 23rd. The Cheatstros come to Baltimore. We'll be down at Lexington Market. We're going to be at Fadley's. I'll be having a shrimp salad and a delicious crab cake. All of it brought to you by our friends at the Maryland Lottery. The Gold Rush Sevens doublers will be available on the 23rd, and then we really kick it into high gear. We're going to be at Coco's on the 4th of September, right before football begins, and then on September 5th, we are doing 26 oysters in 26 days, in 26 ways, in 26 places, all for our 26th anniversary. The cupcake, I got to scratch that out and make a 26th anniversary oyster cupcake. John Martin now joins us. He is our defending champion, executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming, and we're almost to the sports gaming part here, and I know there's some July news as well. But before I get to any of these pleasantries, and we had the $1 million winner at Squires in Dundalk last week. I understand we got another Dundalk winner. I mean, everybody getting rich at Dundalk. We got to do this Guardians Orioles thing, and we'll promote home run riches and do all that. And Jackson Holiday's big salami. But boy, if you and I would have gotten together back in March or April, home run riches in season, and you would have said to me, yeah, the Guardians would be ahead of the Orioles in August, I would have said, what? Stephen Vogt? Who is this? Boy, hats off to your baseball team. And by the way, since the last time you and I got together, I spent 2 glorious evenings out in the Cuyahoga Forest at Blossom.
Whoa.
Yes,
Whoa.
with real Cleveland, with real Ohioans. So we got catching up to do. How you been?
Wow, I've been great, man. I think you just scooped me on that one. What a story that is to be told.
What they would say in fast. You picked a hell of a week to go away. You went away last week, and I went to Cleveland. We played Cleveland. All
in
of
search
this
of me. Yeah.
So this is a time to catch up, as we need to do. We're going to catch up on baseball in Cleveland.
Well, we don't need to spend a lot about the past because the future is in front of us. But I will point out that the significance of last year's 4-game split was that means, I know you know this, but maybe some people listening don't know this, that means that for the season, the Guards took 4 of the 7. So what you say? Well. Should it come down to that last day of the season?
October harkens, John Martin.
Should it come to the last game of the season and they find themselves tied for the best record in the American League, the team that wins the series gets the spoils. So we shall see. We're a long way from there.
Listen, I'm not saying you're older than me, but you're old like me.
I am.
I'll just put that in there.
I am. No, I will own that. I am older than you.
I would just say this. How many years in your life, in the first week of August, can you say that the former Cleveland baseball team, which we don't give their name anymore, the Cleveland baseball team is going to make the playoffs? I've been on the air 33 years, 26 years of the station and all that stuff. I don't remember in August, maybe 97, we sort of knew we were making the playoffs here because we had sort of run away a little bit. But even in 14, when they were really good, wild card system was different when we were younger. You just didn't know in August, even if you had a 5-game lead. Ask the Yankees in 78 and the Red Sox, right? Like they're in the Phillies in 60 and all the historical things of baseball. But this is a weird spot for you as a Cleveland baseball fan, me as a Baltimore fan, to really think we're kind of in the playoffs. We're going to make the playoffs. That's a rarefied air, I think, for any baseball fan outside of New York.
10. The answer to your question is 10.
10
seasons
years
in my lifetime. And once they started that streak in 1995, you kind of felt that every year they were going to be in it. So, but yeah, that's a fun part of it. You know what's fun though? You know what's really a lot of fun? Here we go.
Here he goes with his segue. He's going to segue to home run riches. When Jackson Holiday hits a grand slam, it's fun.
You know what? And I being a student of the game, has anyone yet? And this I'm going to hand it to you. I'm going to hand it to you on a silver platter. Has anyone called him yet Jax One?
No.
Jax One Holiday. He Jax One. Bam.
Boom. Gone.
Jax One.
I was hoping Kobe Mayo was going to do that when he pinch hit for Colton Cowser on Tuesday night. It wasn't a grand slam, would have been a big home run. But every one of these home runs from the Orioles' perspective sends you into the the little money vault. It kind of reminds me of the Monopoly guy. You have to go in and get the money.
Wait a minute. I'm looking like the Monopoly guy.
You have to go to get the money and give it to these people. On any given night, the Orioles have been fun and that they have home run hitters, then you have a home run contest, and it's paid off big time this year. Probably paid out more money than you thought you were.
Absolutely. Timothy Jeffries of Glen Burnie. Go to mdlottery.com. You'll see a good-looking man there holding his $6,000 home run riches check. So Timothy Jeffries sitting there watching the game. And here's the strategy. And he already knows he's won his $500. And all he wanted was at some point during the game for the O's to load the bases. He just wanted to have a chance to load the bases. And there it was. I believe it was the fifth inning. And Jordan Westburg gets hit by a pitch. Was that the pitch?
So what happened? Yes, it was the pitch.
Ooh,
what
wow.
happened?
Sorry. Wow.
I was eating dinner that night, and I stop and start the game sometimes like normal people do.
Sure.
And he got hit, and there was a little break in the, Brian Ebel came out to check him out, and he stayed in the game, right? So I stopped it, and I went downstairs to take my plate because I was done my food. I went to take my stuff back to my kitchen, and I said to my wife, whatever, and then I looked on my phone by accident on the app, and I saw that he hit the grand slam. So I didn't even see it live. So, I mean, I had like a weird – because I went down to my wife, I'm like, they just hit Westburg. Westburg's hurt. They hit him on the soft part of the hand. He's going to go on the I. I still call it the DL. They call it the IL now. I'm old school like that. Yep. And so that whole grand slam thing happened in tape delay for me, which is, I'm not the guy with $5,000 on the line. I'm sure Mr. Jeffries there was like all about. So is he going to buy a holiday jersey? If I had him on the show, Doug Lloyd sets that up. First thing I'd say is, look, dude, you won $6,000. Just put $1.50 and get yourself a holiday jersey. It's got to be your guy, right?
You know what you should get is a Jax 1 holiday.
I'm not letting you nickname Oriole players anymore. I'm done with that. Go nickname your own players.
But he wins. The first thing he's going to do, he plans to buy a bushel of crabs. So I don't normally shop for bushel.
He's one of us. He's one of us.
Will that cover it?
Couple $100.
Is that enough there?
He's fine. It depends if he gets the ones or the twos. Yes.
Yeah. But mdlottery.com, great story. I love it when people share their thoughts leading up to it. Oh, we wish Mr. Jeffries and his crabs good luck.
Well, the home run riches game, explain this to me, because almost everybody that plays it kind of is the whole notion is you'd like baseball to play the game. There's a second chance. You have a chance to have your name on the air and win some money and win some big money. But like, I would think every person whose name I see on here is a baseball fan. And certainly when Doug calls him and says the 18th next month is your night and you've won some money, that this is for all of these people, all 162 of these games, every time somebody is in the thing, I would think that friends are over at the house. I would think it's like the night the kid gets drafted,
Yes.
I'm sure everybody's over and they throw a little party and get some pizza and hope for the best and hope they win $1,500 or a couple 3 home runs, right?
Why not? If people don't know what we're talking about, you better hurry because we only have one more drawing to go. We pick at the end of August for the remainder of the season. But you go and purchase a $5 Home Run Riches bases loaded fast play game. And if you happen to enjoy the game itself and would like to win, the progressive jackpot as we speak is over $80,000 on the top prize.
It's even more than a holiday home run. That's the big one.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly. But you get one of those tickets and you then enter it into My Lottery Rewards, our loyalty club. And then you hope that your name is drawn in advance of one of the 30 games for the upcoming month. You can go see your name there in on the schedule on mdlottery.com. And then you wait for that game. You already won $500 being selected contestant of the game. And then you hope that for every Orioles home run, you win $500. And if the bags are loaded, and a player by the name of Holiday tends to hit.
Well, I dance. I say holiday, celebrate. That's what I do. I do holiday, celebrate. But really? That's 40-year-old song. Jackson Holiday doesn't know anything about that. But,
no, he doesn't.
But these are good times. So I want to take us to Dundalk because I'm doing the show in Costas next month.
Yep.
I'm doing this Crazy Oyster tour. And I admitted this last week to Seth, my resident Pirates fan. I admitted this to him. Every week when I get the email from either Seth or James in your office, and I see all the winners, Maryland casinos generate X amount of revenue, and we have winners here. No offense to Eldersburg or Hyattsville or Elkton or any other place where people win. But when I see Dundalk, it's a hometown thing. You know what I mean? And 2 weeks in a row now, Dundalk's been cashing in, my side of town. We had $1 million winner last week. Great story. Squires, my childhood pizza place. I hope he got a Shirley Temple after he won. And now you're coming back to me again this week. We got another Dundalk winner.
The soda pop store right there on Westfield Road was the scene of the last Dundalk winner. A woman from Dundalk checking out our $5 money scratch off ticket. Checks it out on Friday, and she notices that the number on the ticket, because you can see what the next number is 004. For some reason, she just left it there, did not buy a ticket on Friday. Comes back on Monday, and that same ticket is just calling her name. It's saying, Dundalk woman, come here.
It's saying Earl Weaver. Earl Weaver. Yes.
Earl would be, that's a nice tie-in. Thank you.
There's a new book on Earl Weaver. Just came out. John Miller, a friend of mine, wrote it. Just getting released right now, so I'll be promoting that. So I know
John
you love
Miller?
baseball. No, different John Miller. This is the John Miller from the Wall Street Journal. No, different John. There's a lot of John Millers. But the Earl Weaver thing, he has taken a deep dive into the life of Earl, which in a way. So we've been chronicling. So number 4, I'm a baseball guy. If it was 5, I would have said Brooks, but maybe Flacco. But nonetheless, go ahead. So Earl Weaver, number 4. My Dundalk lady, soda pop store.
So it was not purchased over the weekend. So she goes back on Monday, decides to purchase it, gets that message you and I love for a person to see.
See John
Go
Martin.
to lottery. Yes.
Yeah.
Go see John Martin. But she wants to find out what the price is, because she does what some people do. They go right to the prize check. You could do this. I think it kind of lessens the experience, but it could in this case work out. So if you scratch not the schmutz on the whole card,
this is prize check right here. This part right here. Okay.
Visual reference. Very nice. Thank you. So if you do that and then use either your app or the ticket checker in many of our 4,400 lottery retailers, it will tell you if it's a non-winner or if in fact you've won a prize. And sometimes, depending on the value of the prize, it will actually put the number right on the screen for you. In this case, especially if you're in the store, it just says go to lottery, because it does not want to have you go crazy in the store if you see a big number. So she decides, what the heck? I know I've got a winner. So she scratches the schmutz off the ticket and she sees right off the bat, yep, $50,000. So once again, Dundalk has a winner from lottery headquarters. We're delivering that prize as we speak. Our prize.
I wouldn't be so flippant as to say to you, have you ever been to Dundalk? I've seen you in Dundalk. I've been with you in Dundalk. So a lot of people, I tell people, come to Dundalk. Good things are happening in Dundalk. We're growing again. Trade Point Atlantic. Get down to Costas. The bridge is down. Find a way. Find a way to get down to Sparrows Point. Find a way to get to Dundalk. And you might be lucky and win $50,000. I know you love talking about these winners. And there's that moment where you're like, she scratches the smuts off and realizes she's won $50,000. I'm thinking, that moment is such a wild moment for everyone that ever wins, right? Everyone that ever takes a picture, there's that moment.
Here's another wild moment, and I love stories like this. A woman in, I want to get the location right, Frederick County. So we're going to go west a little bit. We won't talk about Frederick County.
I drove to Frederick on the way to Cleveland last week, and we'll get to that in a minute. Because I'm not going to let this go at the end without talking about Blossom and Sammy Hagar, because we have to do that.
Fantastic. So we have a game called Multi-Match. Many people play it. They enjoy it. Where the woman, Tawny Barnwell, actually can go to mdlottery.com and see her holding her check, a $540,000 multi-match win with a $2 quick pick ticket. So she didn't even have her favorite numbers. She had the multi-match gods hand her the numbers. And at midnight, she decides to check the winning ticket, finds out she won, and starts screaming through the house. Of course, her husband is sleeping at midnight.
That's worth waking. That you wake your spouse up if you like your spouse, you wake your spouse up when you win $540,000. Yes.
If you don't, I suppose you leave a note. I don't know what you do in that scenario, but Tawny didn't have to do that because she woke up her husband. They reveled in the fact that she had a $540,000 multi-match winning ticket. She's a regular multi-match player, so you always like to see people rewarded for that, right? I mean, they invest in
Correct.
the game. You'd like to see that it pays off for them. And congratulations to her on the recent win for $540 multi-match in Frederick County.
I stopped in Frederick. I intentionally got off 70 and went downtown Frederick. Well, my crab cake tour takes me places, and my
Sure.
wife and I fell in love with Frederick. I mean, the mayor of Frederick. I have his card on my desk. I owe him a Mako visit for next week, and I will see you in Ocean City next week as well, as we're broadcasting doing the crab cake tour down at the convention center at the Fish Pal Crab Cake Tour at the Fish Pal Convention Center. I love that. Only in Maryland and Ocean City can you do that. But in Frederick, there's this great place. A free plug for them. They have exotic pastas with Old Bay in it, with garlic and peppers, and we love this little. It's called the Pasta Palette, and it was only open on the weekend, and I just decided on a whim to drive to Cleveland to see my Cleveland former producer, Bernard McKinney, sports producer, and we went to see Thomas Dolby at Blossom. I went back to see Sammy Hagar. I must say, I enjoy your area, but I enjoy Frederick, Maryland more. And my wife's mad. She's happy I brought the pasta home, but she's like, I didn't get to go to Frederick. So shout out to Frederick. We like you, Frederick. People should go to Frederick. We have a great state here, straight in Maryland, John. You know that.
Absolutely. And you know what else we love? We love watching the Olympics, don't we? It's been
Well,
going on.
you
What
like it
great
even
theater.
more when you think you get to go to Milan or Los Angeles. And have we picked our final winner yet? Or are we
We still have
barely at
one more. We still have
one
one more
more?
to go,
Okay.
but you can go to mdlottery.com and see the great story. And I get another smiling winner. We have, boy, this is a good week for smiling people winning and sharing their story on our website. Cheryl Harrow of Overley, when she went with your suggestion, Nestor. She will go into Milan for the 2026 Winter
You
Games.
chose wisely, Overly. That's near Dundalk. They know what they're doing over in Overly. It's my
Uh,
side of town.
but again, she obviously very familiar with what she was entering. She only entered 6 tickets, 6 multi-match tickets. I'm sorry, Mega Millions tickets into the drawing, and was selected as our first drawing winner. And she has made a decision. Never been to Italy, as she said in her story here. Boy, having a trip to go see the Olympics was not on her bucket list, but it certainly moved up pretty quickly once it all came together. So she and her husband are going to enjoy that. They're hopeful to get in on some of the things like hockey and figure skating, and actually see some events while they're there.
That's the
But
Winter Olympics in Milan. So the summers
Winter
are in
Olympics,
LA, right? So
right?
I have friends over in Paris, and on the first night um, of the Olympics, I saw the shot. A friend of mine was at that setup where the beach volleyball was, right in front of the Eiffel Tower. And the first night, she's putting pictures up of being at beach volleyball under the Eiffel Tower, and I'm like, that's pretty magnificent.
Yeah.
The Olympics are awesome, and my wife is addicted. I mean, I've lost my wife the last 10 days. Morning, noon, night, from pole vaulting to to gymnastics to in the pool, everything. The Olympics are great.
Great stories, and that's why people watch. I'm sure there are people who like the competition, um, uh, and that aspect of it. But you watch for these people that you from all over the globe that you never knew even existed, and to see their struggles and their story and underdogs. And again, some of the wins just this week, depending on when people get a chance to listen to this, will be old news. But the young man who won the 1500, what a story that was. The pole vaulter who, upon winning, ran immediately to his girlfriend and hugged and kissed. And these are stories that really tug at your heartstrings, and that's really what the competition is all about.
I thought them honoring the young lady who won in the gymnastics and honoring her I thought that was just awesome for Simone Biles, and
Well,
she comes
not
home a hero as well. I mean, and the Michael Phelps part of being from Maryland, my first ever byline in 1984 at the News American. I was 15 years old, was in the summer of 84. They said, kid, get Murray Stevens, who was the coach at North Baltimore Aquatic Club of Teresa Andrews. She won gold. She was one of the first, her, Anita Nall, the really early swimmers before Michael was
sure,
barely born
right.
at that point. We just have such a rich Olympic heritage here. Can I give you a fun Olympic story? I haven't told this one on the air. I don't think maybe in many years, but I want to tell you because it's funny, because it's about my interest in the Olympics and what happened 2 weeks ago with rugby. My wife and I, after she had cancer in 14, we went back to Australia in 17. And in early 2017 to see Bruce Springsteen. We went to New Zealand, Australia. My wife was just getting better. So we went over there. And on our flight home, we were at the Sydney airport. We had a 14-hour flight to LA. And we boarded our Qantas airline. We sat down on our seat. And a whole team came onto the plane of ladies, and they all had gym bags. They all were wearing Australia gear, Team Australia gear. And they sat amongst us, and the girl sat next to me. Um, and I said hello. They're all Australian. They were fun. And I said, "What team are you on?" They're like, "Rugby sevens." And I'm like, "Really?" I said, "What?" I said, "So do you just Olympics? What do you do?" And she's like, "We won gold in Rio." And I'm like, "Really?" So I wind up next to a young lady for 14 hours. You get to know somebody on a 14-hour flight. My wife fell asleep. She fell asleep after we were talking. And I'm in the middle seat reading the Qantas Airline magazine. And I get to, page 28, and I look down, and the girl that's asleep drooling on my shoulder is Sharni Williams. She was the captain of the gold medal team, Shani, and she's now my Facebook friend. We're friends. She accompanied the team this year. She's not a player anymore. She's sort of aged
Sure.
out, but she is a hero in Australia, and the rugby team won the gold and became heroes. And then 2 weeks ago, we became heroes here, right? We had American Olympic heroes that were rugby players who beat the Australian team. So that's my fun story for you. But I earned a friend for life in the captain of the Australian Rugby Sevens, Sharni Williams, who's a superstar. So yeah, when
So
you
did you
touch
ever?
this Olympic greatness, well, I took a selfie with them when I got off the plane, the
Sure,
whole team,
sure. Did you wash that shirt that had the drool?
No, 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 no. It's Olympic champions rule. That's fine.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I would frame that.
She was phenomenal, and they were all just such great people and such ambassadors for the Olympics. But that was just I'm not starstruck by much, but that was kind of a cool plane ride.
Oh,
And
sure it
then to
is.
have rugby come into focus here for Dr. Steve over at LA Chiropractic, the only rugby nut I know for all my lifetime. Every time he comes home, we talk rugby. Rugby became something I mean, the Olympics have been a beautiful thing this time around, and especially because we're getting it next time too.
There is a growing competition between Australia and the United States, especially in the aquatic events. So
Well, they
there,
have good weather over there. They swim a lot over there. They can do all that. John Martin is here. He is the Maryland Lottery executive. So, you gonna tell me about Ravens? No, no, no. We can't do Ravens yet, or no?
no, but I will tease this because upcoming
All right.
events, we like to say where we are out and about this weekend. The Eagles are in town,
Yes.
so there will be a fake football, as you call it.
I did not wear my green El Guapo shirt to support the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, I
Okay,
didn't
I
want to
just
say
want to let you know.
anything. I
All
mean,
right.
but you mentioned it. So we will be there at M&T Bank Stadium. We will then also be at in Pasadena at Kurtz's Beach for the Made in Maryland Festival on Sunday, the 11th of August. Then we are back at M&T on the 17th, Saturday the 17th against the Falcons. I have it on good authority. I know some people who know some people. You may have a Ravens scratch off sighting. I'm not saying it's going to happen. It could happen Saturday, August 17th at M&T Bank Stadium.
All right.
Just putting it out there.
I will circle the 21st on our calendar to, discuss that 2 weeks from now. John Martin is the executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. Anything on the gaming side you want to say? Because I know some numbers came out. We're getting close again, and I know September's a big month to tell people, hey, man, take it easy here. A lot of games ahead. But it is all new, and I mean, you guys are generating a lot of revenue for good things in our state. And I know we'll talk a lot about that next week in Mako as well.
We had the casino numbers just introduced, and typically the sports wagering numbers are about the 10th of the month, which this month would be a Saturday, so we won't probably release them till that Monday, the whatever that is, 12th. I'm interested to see what impact the Olympics have had. And as you've mentioned correctly, with a lot of the Maryland and Baltimore specifically focus on those athletes being participants in the games, it'd be very interesting to see how much we had the Olympics impact the handle in the month. So yeah, I'm as interested as anybody else to see how.
I think it's a hard thing to wager on other than just out of pride. I mean, like, it would have been a lot of fun to bet $5 on Michael Phelps touching the wall first. Like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
night, yeah, it's like going to a horse race and just, but nobody
But you know
knows
what?
much
Not,
about the
not,
Olympics. That's the hardest
yeah.
part.
Now that I think about it, we won't see that for another month because again, the games did not really start in earnest. Yeah, there'll be a few now. We'll have the last few
I don't
days
know
of
if anybody
July.
would bet on South Sudan to be good at basketball, but they are.
Yeah. So we'll see a little bit in those numbers. We'll probably see a bigger hit because the gold medal games events are here in August. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see how that impacts. And of course, once we get into the beginning of September, everybody's mind shifts to both collegiate and professional football, and then things get interesting.
John, I've had some great guests here this week. I had John Feinstein on, and John Eisenberg came on talking about birthdays. The one thing I would say, and you're a young old timer like me, and you've been here a long time, we're never going to have a 90 to 180 day period here in my city. And I say that with a lot of pride. Over 33 years of doing this on the air every day, 26 years of having a crazy radio station. This September pennant race and what the expectations are with the Orioles being 101 wins last year, and we just have never had that. So I think from a sports wagering perspective, a sports interest perspective, traffic to my website, traffic downtown, parking, games in September that matter for the Orioles, knowing we're going to have games in October, it's a really it's a great time. I mean, we're a long way from COVID around here. We've come out of this thing. We even got an election in November as well. John Martin is here. He's executive director of all things Maryland Lottery and Gaming. I'll be telling you more about Raven scratch offs. You and I are going to get together next week, hopefully in Ocean City, correct?
Correct. Look forward to it. See you there.
All right. We'll have lots of good stuff to do there. I get to sit next to you and do the show next to you. Bring me some fun swag to give away as well. I'll have my favorite Maryland Lottery. I don't have it up here. I have a gold-plated Maryland Lottery mug that I carry around with me a lot, but I don't drink it on the set. But it does have a lid on it, so it keeps the coffee off my desk. John Martin will be here next week, and we'll be at Mako next week. The Maryland Lottery sends us out on the Maryland Crab Cake Tour. The Gold Rush Sevens doublers will be with me on the 23rd as well when we get it going down at Fadley's. Our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions and Jiffy Lube Multicare sending Luke out on the road. Luke's in Owings Mills, Luke's at Camden Yards, and we are at WNST AM 1570 Towson, Baltimore, where we never stop talking Baltimore positive.